Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz. We're here going to be doing a review, well, re-review of the T34 Independence, T34 1776, or the T34 1776, whatever you want to call it, but it is the special 4th of July T34 of the, well, T34, Tier 8 American Heavy Tank. So, I got this thing way back. I got it when it was first out for the first ever 1st of July event. It is identical to the standard tech tree T34. You can see, here is the T34 standard, and it is pretty much exactly the same, except it is more whitewashed. And covered in American patriotism. Patriotism, right. Just check and make sure it's actually recording because, well, I tried doing a review of the T28 HTC and it did not go well. But, yes, so the T34 1776, or the T34 Independence, as I prefer to call it, is premium Tier 8 American heavy tank. Currently, you can actually get it during the Blitz Treasures event, which is something that they're doing for the for the 4th of July. First up on the July the 3rd was this thing. Where is it? There it is. T28 HTC minus the special camouflage. As you can see, this is actually an optional camouflage, which is the Independence camouflage, which you could or could not get. Up to you. But as you see, I got it. That was the first event vehicle. And then the second event vehicle is this thing, T34, which they have released before. And you can get that in chests, as you can see. You can also have a chance of winning all these things, and you can purchase varying chests of varying prices. And if you're wondering why I have 10,000 gold, that's because whilst I was getting chests in order to unlock the T28 HTC, I actually got 3 of these. So I got a crap ton of credits and a crap ton of gold because of the chests. So that's why I have enough credits to buy an E100, because I got like triple these. So I got one of these, and then I was like, yay! Like 2 more boxes in a row, I got another 2 of these, and then I was like, really? But anyway, that's enough of that. We're talking about the T34, so enough of that. What is the T34? Well, it's got 74% protection, 58% firepower, 97% shot effectiveness and 31% maneuverability, which is decent for a heavy tank compared to the M6A2E1. 63%, 54, 97, 32, so they're pretty similar. Except, I think, has the T34 got slight edge in firepower? 54, 58, yeah. And that's because a while ago now, actually, the T34 got a buff where it had a better aim time and reload speed, I think. And it also got more HP, which was a much needed and welcomed buff, in my opinion. So yeah, it's got very good firepower and shot effectiveness, and the protection isn't that bad either. But let's take a look, shall we? So 1600 HP, which is actually one of the higher amounts of HP for a Tier 8 heavy tank. The KV5 has got 1600. The IS-3 Defender's got 1550. IS-2SH has got 1500. Glacial 112's got 1500. Yeah. Tiger 2's got 1600. The IS-6 has got 1470. So, and the M6 A2E1 Experimental's got 1500. So it's got one of the larger amount of HPs in the game for a Tier 8 heavy tank, which is a welcomed buff, as I said, which gives it a much greater survivability. As for the protection, the hull armor isn't that great. 102 at the front, 76 at the side, 51 at the rear. 279 frontal turret is very good. 127 side and 203 rear. 203mm of rear armor, like I said with the M6A2E1, is because this just counts as like steel. That's pretty much what it is. It's basically a solid balance weight to balance out the gigantic gun. Otherwise, when you turn the turret, it would tip over because of the front heaviness of the gigantic 120mm gun that this thing mounts. So that's why it's got very good rear turret armor. So you don't want to shoot that, because that's just a solid steel. But the side of the turret is pretty weak. The front of the turret, however, is very good. You can go hull down in this thing, and you will be impenetrable to basically everything. Because I believe the turret also counts as spaced armor. So yeah, heat and a high explosive is just going to sort of fizzle out on it. As for the hull armor, it's not that great. 102 at the front, it's sloped, but still, things are going to go through that very easily. It's not really as much of a brawling tank. It's more of a sniping tank. And that's because way back in PC now, we're talking about PC before Blitz was even dreamt up. The T34 was actually the tier 9 or something, tier 9, tier 8. Sorry, tier 9 or tier 10, I can't remember, but it was a tank destroyer. It was in the American tank destroyer line. And then they switched it out with the T30, and this thing became a tier 8 premium heavy tank. So it was originally a sniper tank, as you will see from the gun penetration, and various varying other aspects. But yeah, so the armor, all you really need to know is that it's got a very strong frontal turret. The cupola is not really a weak spot, because, I mean, look at how low down that is on there. That's very good, very low down, and very sloped and rounded, actually, cupola as well. So if you can hit that, that's going to be a 1 in a million chance to actually hit and penetrate, at least. And really, the whole of the hull is a weak spot. You can angle the tank sort of side scrape perhaps, and the shots would be absorbed by the tracks, but otherwise it will just go straight through the side or the front, because they're very weak for a heavy tank. So the armor is hit and miss. The maneuverability, 65-ton tank with only a 810 horsepower engine, which means that it's only got a 35 km/h speed limit. 26 degrees per second hull traverse and an 18 degrees per second turret traverse. It's not very mobile, honestly. It is a very slow turning turret. Mediums and lights and some of the more maneuverable heavy tanks can circle you, unfortunately. And, well, top speed is alright, but then it's still a little bit on the slow side. Not as slow as something like... well, actually, all of these things are pretty fast. Although 32 for the Glacial, IS-6, 35, 40 I think it is for the KV-5, Tiger 2, 38 degrees per 38 km/h. So yeah, it's pretty slow. And yeah, it's not that mobile, so really you don't want to be charging in, really, with the maneuverability of this thing. As for the engine, 20% chance of fire and impact, yeah. The turret, 264 meters view range because of the coated optics, which you have to get to unlock the second tier equipment slots. Yeah, there's the pretty horrible turret traverse speed. 71-ton load limit. It only weighs what? 65 tons, so you've got a lot of space on there, so you can mount whatever the hell you want, and you won't get anywhere close to the load limit. So that's nice. Then the traverse speed is alright for a heavy tank, but it's still pretty slow. But here's the main aspect of the T34, which is a 120mm gun, T53A1, which is a 120mm gun, as you can see. Now, this did get a buff on rate of fire, and I believe aim time and dispersion. Basically, the gun got a nice buff for everything but penetration. Now, like I said, this was a sniper gun. This was a tank destroyer, so it's got very good tank destroyer-like stats. For example, 0.33 accuracy, which is very nice. The aim time is pretty slow, unfortunately, 6.3 seconds aim time, which is very slow. Rate of fire is also not that great either, 4.81 rate of fire rounds per minute, which, yeah, 12.5 second reload with the gun rammer. It's pretty slow. The penetration, however, is very good. 248 with armor piercing, 297 with APCR, which means you won't really need to use APCR anyway, because that is fantastic penetration for a tier 8 tank. You can get through any tier 9 tank with that kind of penetration. 60 with high explosive, but then yeah, High explosive average damage with AP is 400. The premium shell nerf means that it only does 340 where the APCR. High explosive is 515, so yeah, very good damage, very good penetration. The accuracy is great, the aim time not so much, and the rate of fire is pretty slow, but in line with other guns of the caliber like 128s, 122s, and varying other things like that. And that's everything for the base stats of the T34. It carries 34 rounds, which is an acceptable amount. You don't need to carry around any APCR really. Careful aiming and letting it aim will mean that your .33 accuracy will let you hit any targets. So yeah, you don't really need APCR, so you can load full AP. I mean, yeah, that's enough ammunition to get you through any battle. As for provisions, you've got the standard and improved fuel for +3 or 10% respectively to engine power turret traverse. Then you've got the can of colour and case of colour for +3 and 10% respectively to crew mastery. And then you've got the protective kit, which is 15% to protection of crew from injuries, 10% speed and module repair, 20% fire protection, and 10% ammo and fuel tank durability. So you can go ahead and bundle some of those on. I would suggest that and that, honestly, and then maybe a can of cola along with that. Basically, buzz all of your crew up with caffeine. As for consumables, you've got the repair kit, first aid kit, fire extinguisher for the standard, you know, what everyone does. And then you've got engine power boost for 20% engine power for 15 seconds with a 75-second cooldown. You got Tornado Energy, which was originally Adrenaline Rush, for 20% to load speed, 10% chance of damaging enemy vehicle modules for 15 seconds with a 75-second cooldown. Don't know why they've changed it to Tornado Energy, but I think it's probably something to do with some tournament, I would imagine. Tournament sponsored by Tornado Energy, I would imagine. But then you've also got Multipurpose Restoration Pack, which is these three rolled into one. Can't be bothered anymore to explain why I go with the standard three rather than these three, but you can go ahead and mount whatever you want. If not, you can always go with the standards, which is what I always go with, almost always. And then you've got equipment. Now, with the horrible redesign of 3.8 in terms of equipment, equipment is basically useless now. Well, it's not useless, but it's way too much effort to actually unlock it with spare parts. But if you're going to unlock all 9 equipment slots, rather, I would suggest gun rammer, protected modules, coated optics, aka improved optics, because, you know, I can't have coated optics anymore, I don't know why. But, yeah, so those 3. Then you definitely want the enhanced gun lane drive for the decrease in the aim time, because the aim time is, without it, almost 7 seconds, which is way too much. Then I would suggest probably improved assembly, because other than buffing the turret armor, the 5% extra hull and turret armor is not going to be that useful, so I would suggest improved assembly for more HP. Then I would say... I'm not sure. Your choice of these. Maybe engine accelerator, perhaps. So yeah, maybe engine accelerator, but I'm not sure. Then I would say vertical stabilizer to decrease the aim time further, which would be very useful, because you don't really need the refined gun, because it's got very good accuracy anyway. So 0.31 accuracy is sort of overkill at this point, but... So yeah, I would say go for the aim time. Then your choice of enhanced tracks or toolbox, and then your choice of whatever the hell these 2 things are. And that's what I would suggest as equipment. As for the camouflage, as you can see, the camouflage is greyed out. This is the only camouflage you can get, but what a camouflage it is. It is the embodiment of America. So, yeah. Look at this thing. It's got a 4 on the front for 4th of July. American stars there. It's in the red, white, and blue. Stars and stripes on the barrel. 1776 for the Day of Independence, well, date of Independence. On the barrel there, star adorning the front of the gun mantlet. Eagles of freedom on the side of the tank with some stripes on there as well. This nice little thing on the turret, a nice star on the actual turret hatch. Stripes on the side there. the nice red track guard bit here. Stars on all of the wheels because, you know, it's America. A giant 4 on the back of the turret. It's, yeah. It is the embodiment of America in a tank. But that's what makes it unique, and I do like the T34, even though I'm not the best at it. It's got a very powerful gun, the turret armor is great, and, well, it's just a big American tank. You do feel like you're an American driving this thing. Because it's just such a huge tank. It's like driving this thing. It's just huge. But yes, so that is the T34 Independence re-review. And it's currently 13:37 before the next stage of the Blitz treasure has happened. But anyway, I'll leave it here. I've rambled on enough. I'll thank you for watching, and goodbye.